processing. So I hope everyone was able to, get their morning coffee, get their breakfast, because we have a very interesting session in store for you today, brought to you by AWS with VBusiness. All right. So before we begin and before I introduce all of the speakers that we have for today, I just want to give everyone like a short walkthrough of the tool that we're using. So right now we're using GoToWebinar. A lot of you may be unfamiliar with this tool. So just so you know the features and functionalities, let me show you how you can interact with us, because we really want this webinar to be interactive. All right. So later, during the session proper, you will be able to type your questions or comments on the question box. So depending on your device, if you're using mobile, the question icon, question mark icon will appear at the bottom of your screen. And if you're using your desktop or your laptop, a speech bubble with a question mark icon is on your panel, your chat panel. So you'll be able to ask us a question, and then we'll be able to see it right away. And our speakers have the option to, answer your questions in real time, or leave it for the live Q&A at the end of the session. Okay, and you also have another option. So if you think that your question is a little too complicated or a little long to type and you want to provide, proper context for your question, you can also opt to raise your hand, and then we can unmute you during the live Q&A. Okay, so before we begin, since we're still waiting for a few attendees, they're still coming in, I will just play a very short video showing AWS. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that little short set of commercials that show, what AWS can do for you. Okay, let me just go back to my screen. All right. Okay, so to do our formal opening remarks, I would like to introduce the business unit head of VBusiness. She will just welcome everyone and get our session finally started. I think we have enough attendees already, so I would like to introduce Miss Queena Ke. Miss Queena, are you there?
Yes. Hi, Mia. Thank you for the introduction.
Hi.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead, take it away.
Yes, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the time to join us today for our virtual event, Don't Wait, Automate, where we learn how intelligent document processing and automation can help us improve productivity and service delivery to our customers. By the way, since last year, VBusiness has already hosted a series of free webinars to introduce different kinds of solutions across different industries as we aim for a better and safer way of operating in today's new normal. Actually, the same goes for our today's webinar, where we aim to help our clients who are heavy in document handling and processing. We know that every document holds valuable information that needs to be collated, analyzed, and these processes can be tedious and time consuming. Thus, we hope that today's session will be a great help to you and your company as we learn how we can maximize technologies in improving our process automation. Do look forward, by the way, to our partners, AWS and NBS, as they showcase later on their solutions. Again, I welcome everyone today and hope you enjoyed the rest of the session. I'll be giving back the floor now to Mia. Thank you, Mia. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Miss Queena, for that lovely introduction. Okay, so for our first speaker, I would like to introduce the APJ Partner Strategic BD of the Amazon Web Services team. So she'll be talking about the cloud solution for our topic today. So I would like to introduce Nieves Garcia. Nieves, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here. And thank you very much for inviting me to this session. I look forward to explain you what we have learned so far from our customers in regards to intelligent document processing and how organizations can apply it as well for their business to gain efficiencies that can help them, especially during this COVID-19 momentum where everything is virtual, can help them to deal with those documents in a smarter way. Okay, so with that, I'm going to start sharing my screen. Okay, there we go. Please, I'm gonna first of all thanks the audience for being here today, and I'm gonna ask everybody to be interactive. So if you have any question, any topic, I'll be very happy to get some questions at the end of the session that we can comment all together. So don't be shy. Please share your questions. I'll be very happy to comment on them. And today what we are going to present is really intelligent document processing. And look, we know that this is not a new thing, right? We have been having documents for 30 years or more, if not like a lot more, working in our organizations. But still in AWS, we heard from customers that there were still some challenges that customers weren't able to automate their processes when they are relying on documents. And this is because different reasons that we will present today. And we will present as well how you can not only automate them, but also use augmented AI to help your team that is already processing them to do it faster and in a lower cost mode. And as I said, this is a problem that is not only relevant for one industry, it's usually across all industries that we have documents still as one of the primary business tools for our organization. And some examples on what those documents or processes are come from tedious three-way matching from the PO to invoice to receipts. You can think about account payables and account receivables. You can think about contracts, employees' pay slips, IDs, or think about any document that you can have in different industries. When you go to financial services, we are seeing a lot of financial institutions still worrying a little bit on how much time they take to do a lending process, for example, when they have to provide a loan or a credit application with high degree of accuracy and care, that usually turns out into a very manual process, very managing very critical and sensitive information. So AI is helping here to not only provide some consistency in the process and automation, but also to help them to make those decisions faster, providing a better customer experience. Another example is in healthcare or life science organizations that, especially now with COVID-19, we had some organizations in the research area that they had to process a lot of information from clinical trials, for example, in a very fast way. And those documents processing can take too much time, delaying the whole process. So that's why it's essential for them to have a quick process where they can have some analytics and some insights from those documents and patient data in an accurate way, but also very fast. Education institutions are also helping, for example, their students to onboard their documentation for enrolling into the institutions in a lot faster way. And they have to do that in short period of times. And now it has to be all remotely. So they are eager to understand how they can automate that process so it can come from any location in a digital way, and it can also help them to automate, or let's say take less time to do that process that is not adding a lot of value of to the business, to the core business. Another example is in public sector, where they are already very constrained usually in terms of resources. And a lot of them, they usually focus on process data from documents such as applications for what variety of services. And this kind of document processing is helping them to take more time to think more carefully about those services and how they can improve the experience overall, instead of just taking the time of inputting data into this system. And a last example that I want to present here is even marketing organizations, which is maybe not something that obvious or trivial, which is, for example, ensuring compliance in presentations or press releases, right? Sometimes we do spend a lot of time just reviewing what the rest of the teams are doing. And if there are, like, for example, they are using the right naming in the different press releases or presentations, the branding name, branding guidelines, and so on. And we have been assisting some of the organizations here in APJ region to help them to have that process a lot more automated using AI. So before I go into more details about the issues that we are seeing and why we thought that AI can be of help, I'd like to present a poll and know about how are you processing your documents today.
Okay,
so how this works is, yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
So right now, we have 15% have voted. So guys, if you would like to turn your attention to the GoToWebinar screen, you can answer our very quick poll to tell us how you are processing your documents for today. So first option is manually. Second is with an OCR-based solution. Third is with a rules and templates-based solution. And fourth option is with an AI-based solution. So please let us know. I'll give you around 30 more seconds so that you can switch your screen to the GoToWebinar app and answer our very short and sweet poll. Okay, so I see some answers are still coming in. All right. All right. So I think I'll give you another 10 seconds just so everyone gets a chance to tell us. So also so that we can know based on the audience how your documents are being processed right now. Okay, last 5 seconds. All right, so let me just close this poll and I'll turn over back the floor to Nieves.
Thank you so much. So, well, not very surprisingly, I have to say, most of the people have said that they are still processing the documents manually, with the second option being rules and templates-based solution, and a third option being OCR-based solution. What I want to comment here now is, why is that difficult sometimes to process the documents, right? One thing that I wanted to show in this slide is, what is that variety of documents that we have? We have documents from onboarding documents like identification cards, registration forms, of proof of income, for example, or things like financial and transactional documents like purchase order, contracts, payslips, invoices and receipts, bank statements. It can go all the way through like very old reports or policies or document archives, including handwritten documents. So there are the challenges that have been presented to date to the existing solutions are variety of documents, the complexity of such documents with things like tables, images, things like, for example, forms in those documents, and also that they come from diverse sources, right? So there is no control that you can have in how that document looks like, but you need to extract the information from that document anyway. I'm sure that everybody here has sometimes gone into some documents and not even yourself as a human can really understand some of the things on how the document is structured. So that's why traditional solutions that have been there in place, like manual processing, optical character recognition, rules and templates-based extraction, have been struggling a lot to scale. And that's why we want to present a different alternative. But before doing that, I'm just going to present a very clear example on how those documents can look like. So we have here like a very old census from 1859 with tables on it, with some forms on it, with some kind of check marks on it. And what some of those traditional solutions can do is basically extracting the data in a raw format. But when you see that data, it's very difficult to understand it if you only have the raw format. What you need is really to understand what each of the tables are telling me. Like, what is the relationship between those items in that table? And those are the things that AI can help with. So that's why in AWS, we listened to our customers and we thought into a very different way than traditional methods of approaching this problem. And the way we are approaching this problem, it's really just as a human would, right? So we have a process that we need to first understand what is the document. Second, extract and understand what is the information in that document. What does it mean? And with that, a good example that I usually put is that I'm not a native English speaker, as most of you probably have spotted already because of my accent. And when I came to Australia, for example, I could understand English, but there are some words like, for example, arvo, which they are very specific to Australia, right? So I needed to understand that question. And that's what I mean. Like, you need to understand what that information is telling you. And with the example later, with the demo, you're going to see what I mean by understand. And another example to show that is, for example, personal identifiable information. You need to understand that that information is sensitive in order to make an action with it. And that's where AI can help, can really not only extract the information, but understand what that information is. And then, because we know that some of the information can be very sensitive, or we may have some topics and some extraction items that they are not yet understood by AI, because AI also learns just as a human. So then there are some exceptions that we can put in place as well. So we can decide, for example, if there is a particular information found in the document that is very sensitive and it needs a human in the loop, or if we have a low confidence in the extraction, or AI has a low confidence in the extraction, so it needs a human to oversight that information and correct it if needed. And this is how it looks like. When we put all together, we have the classification of the documents. And in this case, I have put some examples on financial documents, legal documents, and mortgage applications. We can do that extraction and understanding with the services like Amazon Textract and Amazon Comprehend that can do both extraction and understanding. And then we have on exception validation. So let's say that usually in a typical scenario, 60 to 100% or 99%, I would say 100% is usually very difficult. So, but on the 90%, we can have an automated process where there is no human in review required. But on the other percentage, we may want to have a human in review to validate or add any particular task once the information has been extracted automatically. And what we can do with that information, usually all the intelligent document processing in AWS is helping the existing systems. So another thing that is very important to note here is that this is usually not replacing everything that is already in place in terms of change management, but it's more augmenting your process and automating part of your process. So slowly, you can get a lot more efficiency in your organization without a huge change management process involved. And that's why it can go into your existing system. So for example, if you already have a CRM, ERP, or for example, Claim Center, we can get that information from the documents just as a human. Instead of the human inputting it, now it's going to be the AI inputting that information automatically in your existing system. Another thing that usually our organizations think that is very useful is that when you look at the statistics, more than 60% of the data that is currently OCR, so that is optical character recognition, that is extracted from documents, is not used. And that's why, and why? It's because it's very difficult to analyze information that is just in raw format. You need to, again, understand what that information means in order to extract insights and analytics out of it. But with AI, we can unlock those insights and analytics. So you could build reports, for example, and dashboards that are telling you how your financial, for example, data was, or doing that research about the clinical trials. You can then create a dashboard to understand how those clinical trials results are. Because the information is not only extracted, it's also understood. And finally, we have also information search. And this is because usually those documents are scanned or non-readable, non-machine readable documents. And that's why they are not easy to be searched among there. So with this information search or with this extraction with AI, we can then search across the documents. We are going to see it in the demo just in a minute. So let's go for the demo, where we are going to put all together. I'm going to bring here the demo. And what I have here is basically a document. This is a document that is non-machine readable. So currently, I couldn't search about in the document. But what we have done is just to pass it through that process of Amazon Textract and Amazon Comprehend that can extract, yes, all the raw data. This is what a basic OCR will do for us as well. Similar thing. In this case, we are also supporting handwriting. So this text can be either typed or handwritten. But we are also doing things like extracting the key value pairs. And that means that we understand that the patient name is Jane Doe. We understand that the date of birth is the 1st of January of 2020, etc. We can extract the table with the format, so we understand that all of these are the dates and all of these are the process notes. And we can do things like understanding entities. So we can find, like, for example, the person is represented by the patient name, but also by the signature. Finally, for medical in particular, we have Amazon Comprehend Medical, which can help us to understand, for example, what is the protected information for healthcare, what is the anatomy, or what is the medical condition. And all this can be fully automated and then downloaded from this application. Moreover, we can apply compliance. So for example, you could redact certain information and apply that redaction so you can be compliant with regulation. Finally, now we are able to search over the document. Let me just unredact, sorry. So I can search over the information with non-redacted information. Yeah. So finally, I can search now across this document. So if I put, for example, lung, it's going to find the information on it. And not only over that document, but if I go through the full demo, I can go into discovery. And with natural language processing, I can search across all of the documents. So I could do things that are natural language questions. I can not only search by keywords, but I can also search by natural language. What are the types of diabetes? And here I'm going to have the question already answered in just one click. And that means that, imagine customer care representatives saying, okay, this is for example the information that I can get, and I can get a response in seconds instead of previously just getting it in very long processes. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go back to the slides, and I'm going to present some of the statistics on what is the benefit that you can get out of it, right? I have presented what it is, what is the problem, what is the solution, but what are the benefits that we can get out of it? So companies like McKinsey already in 2019, they were saying that you can automate 50 to 70% of the tasks, which has translated into 20 to 35% of cost efficiencies. That is already organization implementing it in 2019 with a reduction in time between 50 and 60%, and returns on investment of triple digits percentages. What we are seeing in AWS in these regards is that we can achieve now in 2021 more than 80% automation with 80% cost reduction typically, and return on investments that have a payback of less than 6 months or around 6 months, and of 900% return on investment when the volume is high. And as we were saying before, those are one of the reasons why this is a very hot topic at the moment, with Forrester predicting 75% of digital transformation initiatives focusing on automation, and that was boosted by the COVID-19 scenario. So as I was saying, benefits that we can provide from AWS is cost saving with up to an 80% reduction in cost of manual document processing. The faster data processing, and this is very important, is that you are now influencing in the customer experience with faster processing from hours or days sometimes to seconds. And also it's adaptable. So for example, in the case of those education systems, when they have enrolling, they have to process thousands of applications, but then the next month they have to process 0 applications. The good part of being in the cloud is that is adapting. It's always pay as you use. So it's always adapting to what you are really using, and you're only paying for what you are really using. Then you can gain new insights because now the data is not only extracted but understood, so you can create dashboards and analytics and insights and recommendations on top of them, as well as you can have higher accuracy of data where consistency is improved. And here I'm gonna ask you to think about some very specific subject matter expert documents, right? Like, for example, if you're an accountant and you're trying to understand the of different organizations, there is some expertise that is needed there. So sometimes a document can look like one thing and then another person looks at it and it looks a little bit different. In this case, you can automate that consistency of all the documents, having a very clear approach on what you're understanding out of all of them, on top of the rest of the benefits. And I couldn't not have in this session some security and data governance topics. So that's why I do want to be very sensitive of the information that is in the documents that intelligent document processing will process. And that's why we have a series of mechanisms, and we have passed already a lot of compliance regulations in order to make sure that every single information that is coming into the cloud can be deployed, can be used only regionally. So we have regional data sovereignty. We also have opt-in, opt-out training. So if you decide not to have your information to train the model, you can opt out from that training model. You can also have optional encryption, and that means that nobody will access to your information. It's impossible to access your information without your custom key. So all in transit and in rest information that you will provide will be encrypted. And for some scenarios where on-prem is mandatory, because you have already all of the documents on-prem, because you have like some requirements that all of the documents have to be on-prem, then you can even use a virtual private cloud just to connect to the service, which is a serverless service. And then you can connect to it, process the documents, get the information back, and keep the documents in your on-prem scenario. And because we, as I said, we really are in job zero for AWS is security and privacy, to maintain the security and privacy. We have passed a lot of compliance regulations, including things like SOC or like ISO or the GDPR or HIPAA, and most recently also FedRAMP, which is the federal regulation in the United States, which is one of the most strict regulations in the world to be able to use these services in federal departments in the United States. United States, and we are in the process to do so for more countries. So now I want to have some poll again, and before I tell you about some of the customer stories that we have, I'd like to know what is your interest in intelligent document processing? What do you think is the #1 goal that you would like to achieve from intelligent document processing?
Okay, so for this fall, we'd like to know, as Nieves had mentioned, what's your goal for intelligent document processing? Is it to A, prove compliance, B, reduce time to search over documents, C, automate my business processes, or D, create a data-driven organization? Okay, so I see that some responses are still being collected. So yeah, guys, let us know if you're going to use this technology, which one of these goals would you like to achieve? Okay, so I see that about half of our audience has responded. I will give another 30 seconds just so everyone gets a chance to let us know what's your goal for intelligent document processing. Okay. All right. So if you turn your attention back to the GoToWebinar screen, you'll be able to give us your responses for the poll. Okay, I'll give you another 20 seconds. So I still see that some people have not put their votes in. All right, last 10 seconds. Okay, and closing the poll right now. Turning over the floor back to you. Nieves?
Awesome, thank you. So I can see that most of the people, more than 50%, wants to automate their business processes, which is very good because that was the main focus of this presentation. But also the second one, with almost a fourth of the audience, wants to create a data-driven organization, which is definitely a very good idea, and we really promote to do so, as well as reducing some time to search and then improving compliance. Great, thank you so much for that. Perfect. So what I want to do now is to share with you who is already using it. What are some of the use cases that we are seeing prevalent in this intelligent document processing, not only overseas, but also here in the region. So this is not only something that is working abroad, right? Like we are seeing here in APJ, a lot of customers already implementing intelligent document processing and realizing some of those benefits that we have discussed before. And some of the key use cases that we are seeing come from loan application automation, like, for example, Kabash, which is one of the fintechs that suddenly they were like very startup and very new into the market, and suddenly they become the second largest, providing loans to small businesses. More than 500K small businesses access to more than 16 billion of working capital, with 80% automation using intelligent document processing with AWS. So that was a huge competitive advantage for Kabash to automate their businesses, positioning them into having very short periods of lending. And that was why they were the second largest provider to those loans during COVID-19. We have another case that is very interesting, which is BDO, which is so-called the fifth big four, and is auditing a lot of financial documents from barely a lot of very different organizations. They audit things like annual reports, like P&Ls, other accounting documents, which are very tedious, with tables usually in it, with notes in the table. So they have to relate the notes with what information in the table is coming. And they have been able to achieve 2 seconds only to process each of those annual reports and P&L documents, while before it was taking them hours in some of the cases, so from 30 minutes into 1 hour to process one of those documents manually. Another one that is very interesting, and it's from Malaysia in particular, is QL Resources. And in this case, it's a manufacturing company that has been able to make now decision-driven, data-driven decisions, building real-time dashboard from their manufacturing handwritten reports. So let's say that in their manufacturing, they have a lot of reports that, because of like the manufacturer itself, they have to be handwritten. They are all handwritten very quickly. They collect all those during the day, and now they have decisions in a daily basis instead of before, where they were having decisions in a quarterly basis. This was presented in the ASEAN Summit. So if you haven't watched the session, I totally recommend you to go and have a look at the session, which was called From Document Heavy to Data-Driven Organization. We also have some other smaller organizations, like, for example, HeyYou, which is in the retail business. And what they are doing is to automate all the ingestion of menus into their system automatically with our services. So let's dive a little bit deeper in financial services. We have been talking about how Kabash is a fintech organization, and they were doing that lending processing. But we have others as well here in the region, like Biz2Credit, which is an Indian organization that they were able to turn around loan approvals from 7 to 10 days to 24 to 48 hours of SLA for their customers. And that means that even if they had a human in the loop, they still were able to provide a 24 to 48 hours of turnaround for those lending approvals. We also have a similar scenario with some of our retail banks, largest retail banks in Australia, that are automating all the mortgage processing for their customers. Another example is an education organization which has to do the onboarding of their students, and what they are doing is to ingest from IDs to driver licenses to medical certificates, payment receipts, proof of income, and they are taking all of that information that has to be submitted in a very short time, only of 2 weeks of enrollment, and they are automating all the ingestion of information for providing them not only the information itself, but also like scoring on how that information in the documents were coming, uploading it from the mobile phone. Another good example is in public sector. In this case, is the Australia Government of Geoscience Department. And what they did is that they had more than 8,000 reports and 2,000 journals of 60 years of research data, with 60 years of research data about the geoscience space, with reports and very complex kind of documents. And they automated all that ingestion into the system so they can build reports out of it. So they are seeing now like trends of information around those reports. They have uncovered data that they didn't know it exists before. And now they are planning to expand that into other departments in the government of Australia itself. And one example more before I go into the takeaways, it's frictionless customer claim. As we were saying, this is not only about saving costs and providing less turnaround time, but also about improving the customer experience. So I guess I hear everybody will agree with me that when we submit a claim, we don't want to wait, right? We want almost immediate response from the customer care department telling us and paying us what we have submitted in the claim. Well, good news is that because you can automate now purchase orders, invoices, and receipts, in this case, we automated that receipt information from NIB. So the customer takes a picture of the receipt, and that can come from a pharmacy, for example, or from the medical center, or it can come from whatever other institution that they have gone into. They upload the photo into the NIB AWS environment. Textract extracts the information from those receipts automatically. Then there is a team that, in case of exception, can review the process. And as I said, like this is in case of exception usually. And then the customer receives the claim amount almost automatically. So what they realize is that they could get between 88% and 95% accuracy directly from Amazon Textract. So the work from the, let's say, customer care department is now a lot more focused into bringing value in their organization, taking care of their relationship, versus just ingesting the data in the system and make the payment. Now the customers are realizing a lot less time to get paid from their claims, which has significantly increased also the customer satisfaction for them. And now with that, I know that we have just some time for the webinar, but as I said, like I'm very pleased to hear some questions. I would like to summarize the presentation in some takeaways. We have been talking a lot during this time, but I will summarize it in 3 ways. One is you can do more with less, and that means that you can use AI to really help you, right? It's like having an augmented team that in this case is artificial intelligence that can help your existing team in being a lot more efficient. And that can bring you not only operational efficiency, but also a competitive advantage. For example, as we were saying, providing better customer experience to to your customers or providing shorter turnarounds for the processes. And when I say customer experience, I want to put here an input. It's not only external customer experience, it's also your internal users. I'm sure that nobody enjoys just inputting data into the system. So also think about your employees' time and how they could dedicate their time into more valuable tasks if they can rely on automation for doing the inputting from the documents. And then don't be very afraid of working with complex documents, because even complex documents can be automated. We have seen how documents with tables, documents with forms that sometimes is not very easy to understand what is the information in it, or to automate them. It has not been easy to automate them before. Now with AI, we have a lot better chance to automate them. So don't be afraid to take your complex documents and try to automate them with intelligent document processing with AWS. And there is a very low change management required. So again, don't think about changing the whole process. Usually we recommend to get your existing process, just help you out with automation with your existing process. And just because I want to put some note on the title of this webinar, the customers, what they told us when they automate is that their only regret is not having started earlier. So I will advise here, don't wait, just automate, get started rather sooner than later, because there is a payback time that you are going to realize sooner if you start sooner than later. And with that, I'm gonna thanks everyone and pass it back to Mia. Here you have my LinkedIn account, and if there is any question later on, I think we're gonna have a panel to answer them. So please feel free to ask your questions. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thanks, Nieves. That was such a informative and educational session about Amazon Textract and what it can do for businesses. So the next speaker that I would like to introduce is our guest speaker and business development lead for Centralized Management System, HRIS, on the cloud. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Sir Jojo Abunto. Sir Jojo, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning po.
Hi, Sir Jojo. Good morning. Okay, I will give you the floor right now, and I will also make you presenter mode. So if you just hold on really quickly. Thank you.
Ayan. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here and taking part of this webinar. I am Jojo of Northeast Business Solutions. I work as a project lead for the HR, timekeeping, and payroll solution. So I've been handling project for 13 years now. So I speak purely technical, so this is just lang my accent and my grammar. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just to share my screen for the actual product demo. Yeah, I hope everyone can see my screen. Okay, we at Northeast Business Solution help companies by providing a hybrid web-based system. So that will automate employee time in, time out, up to pay slip. Hybrid siya in a way that it could be hosted locally or on an on-premise environment. So if the system could be managed by your own team. And other setup could be on cloud, wherein we hosted the system and we manage the server. Okay. We also support a multi-company setup for those companies that have different companies registration. Okay. Currently, we have the centralized system. It is a fully integrated HR, timekeeping, and payroll system. So upon login, we have the demographics, and we could customize any demographic. You could ask request. We could provide a free demographics. So we provide a tool to manage your employee data. So we have a centralized database for your employee to one file, wherein you could manage all the employee information and making all those information accessible to our required person. This is the sample form of the employee 201 data. Then other module, we have the time management or the timekeeping for keeping track your employee attendance, leaves, and other time and attendance. And part of the system also, using the tools, so we provide an easy process with the payroll. So within the payroll system, you could easily process all your payroll transactions, like for example, your regular payroll, your final pay, even the processing of annualizations. Then upon processing of this payroll, upon posting, so anytime, we could easily generate all those reports. So for the payroll reports, we have our, so for the payroll reports, we provide reports for the periodic, these are payroll registers, we have the payslips, we have the bank file. And for the monthly, we have the government contributions or report. Like for example, the SSS, the PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, and also we have the BIR report, like Dimitan says, we have 1601C. Then for the annual report, and for the quarterly and annual report, we have the 2316 and Alpha List. So everything will be fully automated from the system. So yung mga ginagawa nating reporting every year, and so using the tool to ease all those pains, kasi one click away na lang siya within the system. And all those informations, we have the TO1 file, we have the process attendance, we have the employee payroll, could be also provided available to sa ating mga staff or employees. So we also provide the employee self-service portal. So everyone will be provided an access to the portal wherein they could access their personal profile, like for example, the personal information. We have the employment information. And for the timekeeping, they could review their process attendance. So ahead of time, prior to payroll, they could now access their process attendance to check if everything has been properly tagged, or they have to file their leaves, or their overtime filing had been already been approved and credited to the system. And for the payroll, also they could generate their payslip. So all this information will be provided to our staff digitally using the employee self-service portal. And going back for the employees or the employee to one file, these are the fields that we could manage or maintain, or those informations that we could incorporate to our database. So we have their personal informations. Like for example, we have their profiles, contact details, their family relationship, and even contact of emergency. And for the company informations, or for the employment informations, we have, for example, the respective positions, the respective department. These are unlimited. So upon implementation of the project, so we could import all those information to the system. Then anytime we could enable or create a new positions or department directly from the system. So aside from the employment informations, we have the additional informations, like for example, this is a free custom field wherein the client or the user itself could create additional tagging. Like for example, on this example, on these fields, I have defined a checkbox. So I use this checkbox to monitor those employees' pre-employment requirement. Like for example, we have their they are 2316, ID picture, medical clearance, NBI clearance, and other. And every record you could attach a digital copy. It could be a Excel file, could be a picture. So any digital copies we could attach to the system as a supporting document for the employee data. And other, we have, for example, we have the employment accountability. So to help them with their daily tasks. And good to have, we have the additional educational records. And for our government, we have their licenses, IDs and licenses for the government, like for example, SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig. But also we could keep track all those professional IDs, like for example, driver's license, and so on. And since this is fully integrated with the payroll portion of the employee to one files, compensations and benefit. For the rate type, we are capable to process daily rate, hourly rate, and monthly rate. And also we have a project that is a piece rate or actual based from their actual production, although it is for customization. And anytime we could add unlimited type of earnings or deductions. So it could be an allowances, it could be a de minimis, could be a gasoline allowance, or anything that we could add. And also we support multi-currency. We have other implementations wherein their expats salaries is based from US dollar. Then every payroll cutoff, they just need to input the conversion rate to convert the salary into peso and peso to dollar. And also we support almost all of the bank for the bank file. So upon payroll process, we could immediately generate the payroll reports for the bank for the salary disbursement. And aside from those standards, so also we are capable to handle multiple banks. So for example, for the expat, it has a two account, and for his salary it could be divided or could be allocated into this account. So we could define the percentage could be allocated for each bank. So for the rest, we have the tax informations. Currently, we have 0. We have already disabled the M1 to M4. Good to have, we have the affiliations, and for the HR, the system also capable to record all those trainings and seminars that we have been attended. And for those trainings that was been hosted by the company, so we could put all the costs and monitor the holding period for the purpose of clearances. The rest, we have the awards, recognitions, exams that have been taken, and skills in interest. Okay, so for the purpose of timekeeping, we support standard shift schedules. Like for example, defined schedules from Monday to Friday. But also we support an assumed perfect attendance for our managers who are not needed to type in timeout. So every payroll process or every time in attendance processing, so they were always considered as present. No deduction for tardy, no deduction for undertime. Only for the absences, but they have to file their leave. And we have also flexi for period. So for example, we require our staff to report at least 40 hours a week. So disregarded if they report 5 hours per week on Monday, another 10 hours on Tuesday, as long as they have completed the required working hours per week. So this comprises the employee to one file. And for the access and securities of the system, we could define or add unlimited user. Then each user, we could define their access rights. Since the system is already all in, meaning to say from the HR, we have the timekeeping module, we have the payroll module. But as per our experience, and in reality, especially for those companies that have a large manpower, they have their dedicated user per module. So within the system, we define the user access right. For example, I could define a user, an HR user, wherein to provide only access for the HR module. Okay, so under the human resource management, so we just simply check this checkbox that applies to this user. So if this user is not allowed to see the timekeeping, not allowed to see the payroll, so just leave it unchecked. Then under the employee resource management, aside from the module, we have also control for those actions, like for example, creating new employees. If this user is not entitled to create a new employee, so we just simply uncheck this button. And as you noticed earlier, so on our employee 201 file, there are sensitive data. Like for example, we have the compensations and benefits. So in any case that the HR is not allowed to view those data and only the accounting could manage all those payroll information, also we could uncheck these tabs. This is one of the access that we define. We call this a modular access or access right. Also, we could set restriction per level of employees. Like for example, level 1 is we have rank and file, level 2 we have supervisory level, and level 3 we have manager. If such user is only allowed to access the rank and file employees, so we just only need to set his access level into level 1. So setting his access level to 1, meaning that this user can no longer access informations or any data for the upper rank, like for example, for the supervisor and for the managerial level. But should we set it that the user could access up to level 3, meaning to say this user could access all list of employees disregarded of the rank, so from level 1 to level 3. But should we want also that this user could access specific group, so we could use also the access group. So it could be the team 2 only, so disregarded what level that they have. So these are the two types of access rights that we have on the system right now. So based from the module and based from the employee level. Okay. Should you have questions, please feel free to ask. This is an out-of-the-box solution, meaning to say this is the current version that we roll out across our project. But some of our project, they have an added modules. We do also customization or enhancement with the system. So for other projects that we have, they have some added module with the trainings, since they're more focused with their employee trainings for some other companies. They added some process flow with the resignation. So during the resignation, or we have the clearance process. So we also define a process for the clearance. So there you go. So with the employees within the system, most of our window are dynamic, meaning to say we could add or remove fields. For example, I want to display the employee gender together with their birth date. So the top management asks for all those employees with their gender and birth date. Then for those informations that are no longer needed, so I could simply uncheck. Like for example, the suffix, the codes. Then anytime we could write all this information into an Excel format using the Excel button. So simply click the Excel button and all those information will now be available into an Excel file. So those birth date and gender that I have added, so they are also part of the exported file. So the codes and the other information. So in that, then we have an implementations for around 12,000 to 15,000 headcounts, and having this number of employees, so it will be tedious if we could search those employees manually. So the search functions applies. For example, we could use all those informations within the 201 file with their name, the respective department, or could be the respective team. So we could always use those information for the search function. Then also for the employee 201 file, after we manage the employee 201 file, we have the leave management. For the leave entitlement, approach for the leave accrual. since the system was being developed based from our experience for more than 13 years, almost 15 years into this business industry. So for the leave accrual, we have the so-called yearly. So for some other companies, they accrue leave every start of the year, every January 1. So they provide all the leave balances one time, big time. Okay. So aside from that, we could also set rules, like for example, based from tenure. So an employee that has been rendered services from 1 year to 5 years could be entitled for a 15 vacation leave. But for those that have been already rendered 5 years to 10 years, could have a 20 vacation leave. And for the 10 years and above, or up to 99 years, should you be able to render that span of services, they are entitled for a 25. Then for the sick leave, disregarded of your tenure, everyone is entitled for a 12. So this is a one-time big time, one-time accrual every start of the year. But some other companies, the cons is that the leave balances could be unabused. So could be from first quarter of the year, they could almost exhaust all of their leave balances. So some other companies, they do a monthly accrual. Instead of providing their leave balances one time, big time every start of the year, they accrue the leave balances monthly. So we have monthlies every start of the month, meaning to say, for the quantity, the system divides this into 12. So every month, the employee could earn a 1.25. For example, January 1, you have a 1.25. If you split the leave, then by February 2, another 1.25, then you have a 2.5 balance as of February 1. Then should you have used your leave in the middle of February, then it will be deducted. So these are the other way on how to accrue leave balances. Then for the leave types, we could define unlimited. So aside from those that are standard as per labor code, so we could also add a birthday leave, offset leave for those our managers that are not entitled for an overtime, but should be rendered work during holidays or rest day. They could convert those work into a leave type so that they could also file leave for a specific day. Then for the HR report, to be honest, we have a lot of reports for the leave balances, manpower, we have the birthday leave. And to highlight some is we also provide the report for the certificate of employment. It is a free custom. Just provide us your template, then we'll develop it for free. So aside from the certificate of employment, part also of the report is the government certificate or the contribution certificate. Since payroll has been already processed within the system, so at any period, we could also generate their contribution report. Like for example, the SSS, what we just need only to manage is for the OR date and the OR number. So every time that we pay our monthly dues for the government, they provide that OR date by the OR. So that is the TO1 file. Then for the time management, strength of the system is we provide flexibility. The solution could handle different type of shift schedules. So this could be a 10-hour shift, an 8-hour shift, a compressed work week. For example, we required our employees to render 10 hours every Monday, 9.5 hours Tuesday to Friday, or even 4 hours work every Saturday. And for some of our projects, like for example, a power plant, and for the BPO, who have a 24/7 operation, so we could also set a 12 hours work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So we could create unlimited type of schedules. One of our project, it is a manpower augmentations. We have around 100 clients. So it's just like we are implementing 100 projects. Of each these clients, they have a different work shift. They have different policies. So we have defined around more than 2,000 shift schedules just for a single database, multi-company setup. So for the shift schedules, we could define a fixed set of shift schedules, meaning to say we have a definite start time or end time. Like for example, employee is allowed to start work starting from 9 p.m. up to 6 p.m. given 8 hours work plus a 1 hour break. That is the fix. Then we also support flexi. We have anytime, meaning to say this mostly applies to our managers or supervisors, where anytime they could report to work, given that they have to complete the 8 hours work. But there are some managers that disregarded of their working hours. They ignore the undertime. So the system is flexible and policy driven. We could define all those time and attendance policy with the system. Like for example, we could set the grace period. Then, for example, if employees to our study considered as half day, if we allow them to have an early overtime, so meaning to say for those fixed schedule, meaning to say if the employee report at 6 p.m., then the compute early overtime has been checked, so the employee could file an early OT from 6 p.m. up to 9 p.m. So this is a pre-shift OT. And should the employee has been reported to work from 6 p.m. up to 10 p.m. the next day, so the employee can file a two type of shift. One is for the pre-shift, which is the 6 to 10 p.m. and the after shift, which is the 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. For this, we all do customizations. Some of our projects, especially if they have the CBA for the manufacturing, mining. For the collateral bargaining agreement, they have a lot of policies or time attendance handbook. And we have some implementations that we have a different INDI rates or net differential rates. For example, if employee report to work from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., so this is ND1, so it has a corresponding rate. Then from 8 p.m. up to 10 p.m. is an ND2 or net differential 2, different rate. Then we have this 10 p.m. to 6 p.m. as an ND3. So it is also a different rate. Okay, then for we could also set controls for the schedule. So we could define unlimited type of shift schedules. And also for the flexi type, we could also use the semi-flexi, especially during without the pandemic, given the Metro Manila traffic. So some companies allow their employee to report at work, provided a window hour. Like for example, we allow them to report to work from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. But after 10 p.m., the system will automatically compute 30. So if employee, for example, type in at 8:01, then by 5:01 they could already log out. Then if employee report to work from 9:30, then employee will not allowed to go out at 6:30. So this is semi-flexi setup. And for the advanced part of the timekeeping, especially for the manufacturing or the power plant, we have a shift cycle. So meaning to say every week, employees or teams have a different shift schedule. Like for example, starting May 1, this group of employees, we have the employees below, will report to work at closing shift. So for closing, this is 9 p.m. to 6 p.m. This is for the week 1 to week 2, starting May 1. Then for week 3 and week 4, we will be a mid shift. For the mid shift, this is from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay. Then at the 5th week, they will be required to work for an opening shift. So we could plot a 1-year shift schedules that have a different work schedules per week. Okay. Yeah. Then one of the advantages of the system is hybrid, meaning to say we could capture employee time in, time out, or employee time in attendance from different time source. Like for example, we support Zigit Taiko, and also we support Suprema for the biometric devices. Could be a fingerprint, could be a proximity card or a face recognition. Then based from the time lag source, we could tag or identify if the employee time in time out could be based from manual or could be based from the web log. So web log is from the employee portal. So employee could time in time out using the portal. So this is the web log. And other option is could be downloaded. If the system directly connect to the devices, then this is download. Some other log entries is manual, and some other options for time in time out is we have the so-called SMS. We have projects that that are using SMS, especially for their drivers who don't have an access to a biometric, who don't have an access to or don't have an internet, to use the SMS for their time in time out. Okay. Then all those informations will now be processed by the time kit or the time and attendance processor, wherein it is a daily transactions. So the system computes for the employee 30, undertime, overtime, and everything that is in between. For example, employee, we have, for example, the company has a strict implementations of biometric only for the time and attendance. So we have an option to disable the web log. Then should the employee miss a time in, then we could file a missing in or missing out, subject for supervisor approval. Then for the approval process within the employee, we could set unlimited or a different hierarchy. Like for example, for this employee, I could set 3 level of approver. Then for the approval order, we have end, meaning to say all this approver must have to agree or approve the filing before it is being posted. So with this series, if the employee filed a leave, so it will be first going to the first approver. Then after the approver 1 approve the filing, will be escalated to approver 2, then from approver 2 to approver 3. So if approver 3 decline, so the filing will be unapproved or will not be included within the processing. And other approval order is we have end, meaning to say if one of these approver accept the employee filing, then it will not be automatically posted, disregarded if these 2 is approved the filing. Then we have also control with the type of filing. Like for example, with some of our implementation, for the overtime filing, it goes up to the general manager. But for the leaves, official business, change date type, and other filing, it goes only up to the manager. For example, we have level 1 as the supervisor, employee supervisor. We have level 2 as the employee manager, and level 3 we have the general manager. So we have also control for the leave type. So for the leave type, we could file different, like for example, change shift schedules. We have change day type, we have official business, leaves, overtime, and due to pandemic, we have a work from home module. Okay, here you go. And for the payroll part, we provide control. So within the payroll, we could define unlimited type of earnings. So we could define unlimited type of earnings and deductions. So like for example, we have different allowances. These are type of allowances that are based from attendance. So we have controls, meaning to say if we define an earnings, we have control if this earnings is part of the tax computation, part of the SSS, or if we have option if this could be part of the basic salary on how we want these earnings or allowances to be displayed on the 2316, 1601C and alpha list. And for the advanced part, we have use formula. Like for this example, ultimately, an employee could be only entitled for this type of allowances if he rendered an overtime or an OT&D during a regular day. So this will be employees entitled for 75 pesos. But other, as long as he have a 4 hours OT, a minimum of 4 hours. Okay. Then also part of the payroll, we have the loan management. So all that have terms, like for example, cash advance, company loan, government loan, so we could incorporate within the system. And it will be automatically deducted based from the schedule. So we could deduct half, meaning to say this could be deducted half for the first period and second period. Okay. There you go. Then pay adjustment, we could also have leave conversion for the end year. Email of pay slip, we have read to pay. There you go. Then all of the reports for the then upon payroll posting. For the advanced part also, we have control also for the payroll factor. Like for example, we have the tax-free bonus. So we have the 90,000. So should be the government have a defined different tax-free amount, then we could easily configure to the system. We could also use a different divisor, like 264 for our manager and for those employees that work Monday to Saturday. So they have a 314 divisor. Holidays, actually we have also control for the holiday options. Okay, then all the reports will be automatically generated to the system. Okay, so this within the ESS, so also we could do filing, viewing of loan ledger. The employee could view their current loan balances, and also they could keep track the deductions. And also we have the leave ledger. There you go. And for now, due to continuous development with the system, in improvement with the system, currently we are developing a new version of the employee self-service portal, which is a mobile responsive, so that using your mobile phone, we could provide a better experience using your mobile phone. So it could automatically adjust based from your screen. And some changes with the employee self-service portal, we have the calendar for the supervisor to monitor their teams, attendances, and also for the dashboard, we have announcement. And the same, we have their profile, some modifications with their profile. And for the supervisor, they could access their respective teams. Okay, so then and for the last portion of the system, we have the audit trail. So the system will automatically keep track all the changes. It will record the user who modified all this information, who do process of attendance, and also do processing of the payroll. Okay, so that comprises our solution, an end-to-end solutions for the management of employee-to-one data, easily monitoring and processing of time and attendance so as with the payroll, and also one-click generation of payroll, and making all those informations available to our staff. So there you go. So thank you for your time and thank you for listening. So I'll be, hello, Mamiya.
Okay, thank you, Sir Jojo. That's such a good demonstration of how technology can help your organization and keep track of what your employees and your processes for HR. Okay, so let me just quickly share my screen. We'll have a mini game right now to test your knowledge and to see if you were all listening to our two speakers. But before that, I would like to introduce um, a short spiel from Miss Angelica Baliantos. So, Ange, are you there? And she'll be quickly talking
Yes,
about
I'm here.
business services. Okay. Hi, Ange.
Okay.
All right.
Hello, Mia.
Let me just give you presenter mode very quickly.
Okay.
Okay. There you go. I turn the floor over to you.
Okay. Hi, Mia. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can see your screen. Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. By the way, I'm Angelica Balientos from VBusiness Solutions, VBusiness Software and Solutions Inc., new customer segment sales, and I'm the one who will present the VBusiness Solutions overview. We bring you smarter innovation. Okay. Let's start. First, with a short background of Value Line and its group of companies. Our mother companies, Value Line System and Solutions Corp, started way back 2000 as an IBM business partner. And with the emerging shape of technology, we become one of the pioneer user of Amazon Cloud and now advanced consulting partner of AWS here in the Philippines. And these are the spin-off companies under Value Line. First, we have VBusiness Software and Solutions Inc. We focus on delivering cloud solution powered by AWS. Second, we have Strict Solutions Inc. Focuses on business innovation and implementation of services on AWS and expertise on website and application development on cloud platform. It consists of certified solutions, architect, DevOps engineer, developers, and programmers. Also, we have project managers and QA team. Third, B1G2 Technologies Inc. It's exclusive distributor of ESET here in the Philippines. And these are the solutions offered by VBusiness that powered by AWS. We have Cube, Yespo Chatbot, Sunrise Media, Access CRM, and I will discuss it later. Okay. Value Line is also ISO certified for both ISO 9001 Quality Management System and ISO 27001 Information Security Management. And once again, VBusiness is a new spin-off company under Value Line, and we are now an advanced consulting partner of AWS for both commercial and public sector here in the Philippines. And we also an immersion day and solution provider partner of AWS. So here are the services of VBusiness that can help you and assist you on your cloud journey from day one. First, we have cloud consulting, and we seek to understand the company's business and technology goals. And then from there, we provide appropriate design, infra, and application discovery in order to improve company's efficiency and help the reach company's goal. Next, we have migration and deployment. Moving your workloads in AWS cloud, such as SAP, ERP, and application workloads. We also provide cloud security standards and best practices. And we also provide managed services for the infrastructure and cost management. With this, we provide proactive monitoring and reports to the customers. We also have the DevOps. So DevOps is basically a combination of dev and IT operation. The goal of this is to automate the manual tasks. Also, we have here the website development and application development running on AWS platform, such as contract tracing application. Also, we have backup and storage, such as archiving, file storage, and disaster recovery. We also have EUC, or end user computing, where you can access your resources and have the benefits of working on multiple devices from anywhere and anytime. Example are workspaces, upstream, and work docs. Last, we have artificial intelligence and machine learning, such as chatbot, data analytics, and Textract. Next, here are the applications that we have developed and running on AWS platform. First, we have Exa CRM for monitoring of sales and inventory. And next, we have NVS HR management. This is the one that Sir Jojo demonstrated earlier. We have Yespo Chatbot. This actually can help companies to answer queries of their customer. We automate the conversation and interact with the people. Next, we have Care Information System. This system aims to manage the patient information, such as medical records, inventory, sales, and transactions. And we have Sunrise Media. This is a streaming platform 24/7 that you can access via TV or mobile. Okay. Next, we have Run and Manage Your Business at the comfort of your home with these essential tools from VBusiness. We have Chatbot. As I said earlier for Chatbot, this solution for your online communication with your clients, prospects for FAQ, inquiry, or for quotations. And then we have web hosting. Our web hosting has a secure facility. We build secure equipment like WAF, antivirus, SSL, and other security tools to prevent from hackers, especially if your website has online transaction or payment. Next, we have contactless health declaration. An example is contract tracing, which is now must this day, and some of companies implement this for safety purposes and less physical interactions. And we have e-commerce solutions. This solution that if you need to create your company website with online transaction, for example, Lazada, Shopee, if you want that kind of style of transaction, we will customize your website. Also, we have VBusiness solutions offering through partners. We have ESET Security or NAD32. They provide protection for your everyday online activities for home and business devices. And we have SAP B1 or SAP HANA. This application aims to automate end-to-end process. Next, we have Cisco Partner. Cisco is an online solution expert in networking and security. So here are some more happy customer. We have Unilab, Ortigas & Company, ESET, and many more. So as you can see, a lot of companies here. And okay. So that's the end of my presentation, and I hope you learned a lot from what I have discussed. And I'm Angelica Valientos, new customer segment sales. And this is my email. You can email me if you are interested, or with our solution, we can set separate meeting for discussion, and I'm glad to assist you. And thank you, and giving back the floor to Mia.
Thanks, Ange. Okay, so thank you for that. I hope everyone was able to, absorb and learn about VBusiness. All right, so hold on, let me just show my screen very quickly. So right now comes the fun portion of our session. So we're extending a little bit, but guys, like after this knowledge check, pop quiz, we'll be giving out grab vouchers for this. So I hope you were able to stick around also for the Q&A after it, and our feedback after that. All right. So question number 1, just type it in the chat. How much reduction in the cost of manual document processing can you realize with AWS Intelligent Document Processing? Is it A, 20 to 30%? Is it B, 50 to 70%? C, up to 80%, or D, 100%. All right, so the first one who gets the answer correct will have a Grab voucher care of AWS, VBusiness, and Sir Jojo. Okay. All right, so I see some answers coming in. Okay. I'll give you some more time to answer, but I already see the correct one. Okay. So let me just quickly. All right, so the correct answer is C, up to 80%. So congratulations to Mr. Aldos John Benko. You have a Grab voucher for us, so we'll contact you after the webinar. All right, next question. VBusiness is a blank partner of AWS. So is it A, advanced technology partner, or B, advanced consulting partner? Okay. Is it A or is it B? All right, so I see some answers still coming in. Okay. All right, and so the correct answer is B. VBusiness is an advanced consulting partner for both commercial and public sector since 2019. Okay, so the first one that got it correct is Reggie Canete. So congratulations, Reggie. Thank you for participating to everyone. And then now we can proceed to the next part of our session. Oh, the next part of our session is the Q&A. All right. So joining us in the panel will be our speakers from earlier. So Nieves, Sir Jojo, and we'll also be joined by Sir Edison de Guzman, who is the president of VBusiness, and Mr. Marnie Tolosa, who is the senior partner development manager of the AWS partner team here in the Philippines. All right, everyone, are you still here? Maybe you can turn on your cameras. There you go.
Hi, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Okay, so Jojo is also here still. All right. Okay. So guys, so you can, now is the time for you to ask your questions, but there are already some that have come in from the beginning of the session, from earlier. Okay, so Michael Fariolan asks, how about project charging? So maybe this is something that Nieves can answer. I believe that you were talking about this earlier. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, I'm not sure I understand very well the question about project charging, but what I can say is that on intelligent document processing, the payment or how do you pay for that is usually per page. So when you are processing some of the documents, you are going to have a cost per page process, or per, in that case, if you have a document with 30 pages, you should multiply by 30 for that document processing, which is very, very low. You can go into, for example, the Amazon Textract webpage and see the pricing. You're going to be greatly surprised with those pricing. It's very, very low, but you also have to consider that typically when you are automating a full intelligent document process, you have to integrate also that intelligence into your own system. So there is going to be also like a cost of that integration or customization that you can work with partners like ValueBean to work with and to help you with those.
Okay, so thank you for that.
I'm sure that answers the question.
Yeah, I think he was talking about like how much it would cost to be able to do this, to to be able to avail of the service. Okay. So next question. Actually, you already answered this privately, but let me start from the top for the, for so that everyone in the audience can also know the answer. So the question is, what about data privacy if you are capturing personal data? So how would you approach that?
So exactly that is one of the things that, if you think about it carefully, you may realize that AI processing it is better than a person processing it, because AI is going to process it, and as I said before, it's a serverless process, so it doesn't retain any data that it's processing. That means that once it has processed the document, it can identify what is that personal identifiable information. It could redact it, so it's put in the system redacted already, so there is no person or no, let's say, breach of privacy in that environment. There is also, in terms of mechanisms to even reinforce that privacy, you can put that encryption with your own encryption key, so you don't have any access neither to the data itself, so to the document, or to the data extracted from the document. There is no way, let's say, or it is one of the most secure mechanisms to protect both document and data in all of the stages, from the document going into the cloud, till the document being processed in the cloud, till whatever information that you have out of it. So to answer that question again, is usually one of the benefits of doing AI is that there is no people looking at the data, is more AI looking at the data, which, there is nothing that it can do with it. There is no retention. So it is a benefit more than a con.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right. So okay, go, Mr. Marlington. Anything to add?
Yeah, just wanted to add, good morning, everyone. This is Marnie Tolosa from AWS Philippines. I also posted in the chat room how AWS Philippines actually supports Philippines data privacy law. So all of our solutions, all of our offerings, even our partners, supports and agrees on the importance of PII. Hence, you could refer to the link that I posted on data privacy and how we support them.
Okay, thank you for
Yeah, back
that,
to you.
Sir Marns. Okay, so next question. Can you comment on AWS Textract? So maybe Nieves or Sir Marns can answer this. I guess I'm not sure what it means, but maybe like a general comment or like a general benefit that they can get out of AWS Textract.
Absolutely. So look, Amazon Textract is basically an AI service that is a computer vision service. So one of the main differences is this is a computer vision. So just as a human, Textract will look at the document, at the layout of the document, and it would identify, is this a form? So it's like a checkbox there, or like a kind of a key value per identification that I have to look at it. Is this a table? Like it does have a structure, even though there are no lines, it can identify that there is a structure that is a table just as a human, or is this like George row test? And then it will give you the output in that format. It will give you the row test, it will give you the table structure, so you can have, let's say, programmatically, what are the rows and the columns in that table, and what does that mean with what the headers. So let's say that you will have like dates, and these are the dates on that table, for example. And then it can also provide you some key value pairs. So it's gonna give you the raw text, it's gonna give you the key value pairs that identifies, and think here about a form where you are saying, like, for example, what's your name, and you put the name, or if you are, for example, like a woman or a man, and you have to put it there, or any other example on the dates or things like that, that is going to give you already that key value identification. And third, is going to give you also the table extraction. So with that information, partners like ValueBean can help you into getting what you need from that document, because some of the times you don't need everything, you just need some kind of information from the document, and integrate it with your existing systems, or creating analytics, or enabling like a search over those documents. That's what Textract can do just by itself. And then we have Confront that can complement to that, adding some further understanding. As we were saying before, it can do things like, for example, if you have a very particular financial document, you could you could identify financial entities, like, for example, what is the organization, what is the due date for payment, what are like some of those things in those documents, even though they require some expertise. I hope that helps.
Okay, yeah, I think that is a great summary of what Amazon Textract can do. All right, so our next question is for Mr. Jojo Abuento. Okay, Sir Jojo, there is a question here asking about an integration of your system to the accounting system. So if that is possible.
Yes, actually, we have already experienced integrating our solution into different accounting systems, like, for example, SAP, Oracle, and we have the Microsoft. And for the integrations, we always adjust based from the other provider. So integration could be using an API, could be a table-to-table or database-to-database, or could be an import and export functionality.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that, Sir Jojo. Hold on. Next question. So how does your system handle? How does the system handle corrections after payroll runs? So this one is for Miss Corazon.
Okay. For the payroll dispute, we have a function on the ESS wherein an employee could file. We have the functions filing for the dispute. So this could be filed and subject for approval of the payroll processor. Aside from that, that is our automate way. Other way is we also provide facility for the payroll processor to do an pay adjustment. That is the manual way.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Sir Jojo, for that. Okay, so for the next question for Sir Jojo again, hi, can the real-time location of employees be captured using the weblog? So that's
yes. Yes. Actually, using the weblog, we utilize the Google Maps technology. So when an employee time in, time out using the web portal, the system could automatically capture the employee location. Requirements is the employee or the station or the cell phone that used by the employee for the time in, time out should have activated the location. And also, we also apply the technology for the geofencing. This is to restrict employee within certain meters of the allowed location for the time in, time out.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the last question that I see here is again from Michael. Can I make a follow-up question about the project charging to the HR system of Sir Jojo? Okay. So,
yes, Mr. Michael. Yes. We have already implemented project costing allocation and time allocation. We have one foreign company and two local company. And just I trust that your companies also offer the constructions. Since most of our companies that have customized this type of module is one is Australian company who do architectural work for different companies. And these two other companies who do this customization is construction company. They are local companies. This includes project allocation, time allocation, and tagging if it is billable or non-billable.
all right. Okay. So, do you have anything to add, Sir Edison? Yes.
In addition to that, also if you can notice, this situation of pandemic. So only some of the admin tasks or the payroll or the business process tasks are being manually, there is a manual challenge, computation and payroll process. the good thing about the application is we can now put it on AWS infrastructure easily. So let us know if you want it on cloud already. So the employee or the processor can do it remotely. So no need to go to the office. Okay, just in addition, yeah.
Okay, great. Let me check the questions panel. Thank you for that answer, Sir Edison. Okay. So I think there are no more questions. Yes, let me check. So any last final words before I conduct the post-event feedback poll? Let's start with you, Nieves.
No, just as I said before, I would say not to wait too much if you want to get started with this. And thank you very much to ValueBean and to the audience for coming today, inviting us and hear from us. We are really happy to help. If you want to implement any automation in your business, you can contact, you can contact ValueBean or ourselves to help you on that journey. So yeah, just get started.
Okay, Sir Jojo, for you, any last and final words that you'd like to impart to our audience?
Again, I just simply want to thank everyone for listening and also for attending for this webinar. And I hope that during my presentations, you find that tools or that our solution could be helpful to your organization. And for further questions, for Sir Mike, I'll be keeping in touch with you. I trust you have provided your contact number within the questions, so I'll call you later. Again, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Sir Jojo. Okay, so for Sir Edison, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for attending. No, so please reach out the team. Let us know how we can help you. And yeah, our goal is, of course, to help you minimize the tasks and automate processes. So let us know, and if you want to have a demo or test or everything, just feel free. Let us know, and the team are ready to guide and help you, even down to the consulting and planning. So let us know. So if it is a plan in the future, let us know also so we can prepare. If it is urgent, so please let us know ASAP so we can help you also. In fact, we implemented, example, the Sir Jojo application during this pandemic. 2 companies are successfully deployed. Even we have this situation. No? So yeah, let us know. So the online or the remote situation is not a burden to us because it's everything online and in cloud. So thanks with the help of AWS team also, and thank you for your attendance. Thank you.
Thanks, Sir Edison. And lastly, Sir Marnie.
Yeah. So I just wanted to thank our participants for investing your time with us this morning. Also, I'd like to thank Nieves, who joined us from Australia. I know it's past your lunchtime already. Thank you so much. And of course, to our managed partner, our very valuable partner, Value Line, Sir Edison, Jojo, Stal, Queen, and team. So thank you so much. Do reach out to us on anything that you need help on, and we are here to provide not just the technology but also value to you to support your business. So keep safe, everyone. Stay healthy, and God bless. Back to you, Mia.
Okay, thanks everyone. So for those who are asking about the polls, about the certificate of attendance, so we will be issuing you a certificate of attendance as long as you stay until the very end and answer our feedback poll. Okay. So thanks, guys. You can turn off your webcams already. Thank you so much. So that
Thank
I can
you.
launch this poll. All right. So we'd like to know, how would you rate our event overall? 1 being lowest and 5 being highest. Okay, so please let us know, because your feedback is very valuable to us. You know, we conduct a lot of these webinars and we use this data to see, you know, how we can improve on our event. And if everyone is, you know, able to learn from these sessions. Okay, so I see that more than half have voted. All right. I'll give you another 15 seconds. Okay, so that you can turn your attention to the GoToWebinar screen. All right, so let me close that very quickly. Next question, how would you rate our speakers for today's event? I wasn't aware that Nieves was from Australia. So, you know, it's really great to work with companies like AWS because we get to, you know, learn from our counterparts from around the world and how willing they are to help us on our cloud journey. Okay. So please, I think I will give another 15 seconds just so everyone can give their rating for the speakers. All right. Some votes are still being collected. Let's just wait for everyone to respond. All right. So I think we have more than half and closing. Okay. Next, how would you rate this webinar's content? 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. So how relevant is this to you and to your organization? And how helpful was the information that you learned today? Okay, I still see some responses coming in. Thank you guys for staying till the very end. I know we extended a little. Okay, let me just see if anyone is still responding. All right, we close this call very quickly. Last 2 questions. All right, do you have any plans to deploy workloads in the cloud? Yes, in the next 0 to 6 months. Yes, in the next 7 to 11 months. Yes, in the next 12 months or more. Or no, we don't have any plans yet. All right, so if you're interested, you know, in availing any of the services that you have seen today, please, this is our way of knowing if we will contact you. So do let us know, you know, what your timeline is also, and if you have any plans of deploying any of your workloads to the cloud. All right, I still see some responses coming in. All right, just now. I'll give another 10 seconds so that, you know, everyone can get their responses in. You know, you can switch between screens to go back to GoToWebinar. Okay. And closing. Last question. Last question. All right. This is just a yes or no question. Would you like for us or any of our speakers today to get in touch with you to provide you with more information and help you move forward with your cloud journey? All right. So let us know if you would like to be contacted. by any of our speakers today? Okay. Okay, 40 seconds has passed. Around 65% have voted. Please let us know. All right. I think some people are still going to vote, so I'll give you another 20 seconds. All right. Okay, some responses are still coming in. All right. And okay. So let me just close this poll really quickly. Thank you everyone for giving us your feedback. Yes, so that's it. I think, we went a little over time, but I hope, it was enriching enough for everyone to learn about these um, technology solutions. So I'd like to thank everyone for attending. So for any of your inquiries, you can contact Cristal Hernandez at vbusiness.com. And I hope everyone has a good lunch and everyone stays safe. It's a little rainy and windy where I am. So I hope everyone is, cozy indoors. And I'd like to thank our speakers again for joining us in our event and to all of you who have stayed until the very end. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.